unless you're really transitioning, but you need to keep a core group of guys in and scheme around them. I think that they just have, and like I said, it's similar to the Commanders where they're just trying to play every healthy player they have. What's up, Billy?
Hey, what's going on?
Well, it's big sports week, or it was a big sports week.
Yeah,
especially
it sucked
in our world.
Yeah.
Wasn't great.
No,
well, actually, it was great. Yours definitely sucked. With the Chiefs, mine a little bit more along the lines of what I want with the Bengals because I don't want them to win. But Joe Burrow is Joe Burrowing, which is making it hard to lose. Luckily, our defense is still the worst ever. So,
yeah, we're gonna probably keep this a little more condensed and not talk about too many games because we've got some other plans, some things that I had alluded to in the last little bit that I put up. But,
yeah.
Long story short on that part, though, I kind of needed. I think initially I needed you guys to win. There's a path, and we'll get there. But I didn't enjoy it much. And then, yeah, obviously, a shit show.
I don't think you're capable of winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't think you want to win.
Yeah, we will get there. But I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean, all the buzz though around. Did you see the college football playoff bracket?
I did. Let's go and take a look at it real quick.
Yeah, bring it up for the boys.
Let's get.
We're getting a lot of technology in here, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting a lot of technology in here.
So this is. I hope you could see it. People should be able to see it. I'm not sure why it's not in some sort of dark mode, but this is the official bracket right now. Number one, just to kind of start off, number one team in the league is from a state, most people I don't even think knows exist.
I think they know Indiana exists. If it was like Iowa, I would.
Close enough. I mean, they're right next to each other, right? So it's like Indiana, though, coming out as number one, number two, Ohio State.
Everybody knows Indiana.
Yeah. Do they have a good basketball program?
Yeah, that's what the movie Hoosiers is about.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
It's like one of the greatest sports movies of all. Okay, never mind.
All right, I'm missing out. Homework to have. All in all, though, this top four, I don't think this is surprising at all to most people. Am I wrong on that?
So the top four, I think is because I think there's a lot of people who didn't expect Indiana to beat Ohio State.
Sure. With that, yes, it is surprising. But when we really look at
the teams in there,
the teams that are in there like this, based off of what happened this year, facts are facts. This should probably be our top four.
I think you could debate Texas Tech a little bit, but they probably deserve it.
I mean, yeah, they've played pretty well this year. Obviously Indiana going through what they did. Ohio State sticking in at number two. Maybe that's a little different, but I don't think, the top four really means you get a bye week. And all four of these teams get, essentially, I think they're 3 weeks out from playing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're about 3 weeks out till January 31st or the 31st for Ohio State. That's a lot of sitting time. And this actually screwed over a lot of teams last year that got that bye week. I don't remember exactly how it played out. I'm not sure Ohio State was a part of one of the teams that sat. But most of the other teams that got to get this extended, not even by week, by almost month, they kind of failed by the time it came their time to play. So I think it'll be interesting to see how those teams fare as good as they've been all season long.
Well, let's get into the dirty. What do you have any opinions? This is obviously there's not even a consensus, I don't think, on how this whole thing went. I think it's very split. And I don't even think it's split like two ways. I think it's very multi-split, but like,
yeah. So two schools that are in here right off the bat before we get really dirty with it. JMU and Tulane. I mean, what are these fucking quad A schools that are allowed to play in the playoffs? And we have some other teams that are obviously left out. You know, for somebody like Ole Miss, you know, they just lost their head coach. Their team, you know, Ole Miss told Lane Kiffin, who is no longer there, don't come back. So they're going to have an interim head coach. So maybe, you know, I guess a little pat on the back, like you did good. We're going to kind of give you a gimme because I don't see Tulane winning this game. And then JMU for Oregon, you know, and the way the seeding works is it's similar to pretty much any other sport, you know, best plays the worst kind of thing, which never really made sense. But, you know, Oregon also kind of has a pass here with JMU. So those are two things right off the bat that I'm like, what are we doing here? Because when you look at the college football playoffs, we should have the best 12 school. Is it 12? It's 12, right? Yeah. Best 12 schools in this game or in the bracket. And I don't think the 12 best are clearly here.
So here's my thing is I've been thinking a lot about this actually. And I've been watching a lot of media where these professional pundits and media personalities have a lot of opinions on what's going on, mostly related to like Notre Dame and BYU, maybe Texas and Vanderbilt not getting in, 3-loss Alabama getting in, Tulane and James Madison, similar to you, like they're like these teams are going to get crushed. Nobody wants to see that. And I think that they're all full of shit. Basically, I think that they're all hypocrites. They have their own agendas, and they just don't like that maybe it didn't go the way that they potentially predicted, or, you know, they just have to have a take on it. So I think that they're giving a take or whatever, but I think that they're all pretty bad takes. All right. I understand, like, you want some at-large representation here, like Tulane from the American whatever conference and James Madison. I mean, they're both, you know, AP top 25 ranked teams, right? So Tulane's 17 here, James Madison's 19. So it's not like they're unranked teams. They're maybe not the best teams in the country, but I would argue that BYU, I think Vanderbilt had a legitimate shot. So here's my thing: is first of all, I would take out, if I was doing this, I would be taking out. I would take out Alabama. They have 3 losses. I would take out Alabama, and I would take out James Madison. I would keep Tulane in because I think you still need some representation there, even if they get blown out. Like, I don't think it really matters. Well, actually, I'm going to say that it does not really matter. And I have some supporting evidence for that, that I will present here in a minute. James Madison, 12-1, but we're ranked below Tulane. So they just don't make it. So you give, like, you know, those lesser conferences some representation by allowing them one spot in the playoff, right? So I'm taking out James Madison. I'm taking out Alabama because I don't think Alabama earned it, right? And instead of Alabama, I'm putting in Vanderbilt. So I'm skipping over Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's weak sauce, and I do think they're a little bit of like cry bitchy. I
don't disagree there.
I think Vanderbilt has the best case. I mean, I think that they were the next best option, even though they're not necessarily ranked right below, right? Because whatever the ranking is, Notre Dame and BYU are ranked above them, but like those ratings are like, people these media personalities are going around and acting like the rankings aren't also determined by the same people who determine the playoff bracket. So, I mean, and then I've been hearing a lot about like head to head, like it was between Notre Dame and Miami, and they have a head to head matchup, and this is like the first time that that's ever being considered. It's like the people woke up and like just decided that, but I don't even think that matters because it's not like you cannot like. A loss to a good team is better than a loss to a bad team in anyone's eyes, right? If you, if the Kansas City Chiefs went out and lost to the New England Patriots, like you wouldn't be crying about it. Like the Patriots are a good team, but if they went out and lost to the New Orleans Saints, like you'd be like, okay, well the fucking Chiefs need to pull together. They fucking suck, right? So I think that gets like so subjectively factored in. And anyhow, I think Vanderbilt should be in. I would have Vanderbilt. I would have Alabama and James Madison out. I would have Vanderbilt and one other team in. I would maybe BYU. I'm hesitant to put Notre Dame in there. I didn't look at their schedule. I don't know what their. So they had a loss to Miami, a loss to A&M, and wins against everyone else, but didn't really play anybody. I would probably put Notre Dame in then.
So
maybe. Oh, let me look at BYU. Hold on. BYU lost to Texas Tech twice, and then beat everyone else. Okay, I would put BYU in. Okay, so fuck Notre Dame. I would put Vanderbilt and BYU in. Those would be my two that I would put in instead.
So I sort of understand the, representation of conference. The only parallel I can draw to that, I'm sure there's something else out there. The only parallel I could draw is, we'll let an NFC East team in the playoffs for, the NFL, even though they could be 8-7, right? Or just, I think one year they were under 500 and there was representation in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of what I'm saying is it doesn't really factor in my opinion. And I think my opinion is pretty spot on here. I'd almost say it's almost fact because I don't think if you let BYU in, if you let Notre Dame in, they're not winning the championship. They're going to get rolled too. They're just saying that like, because it has the potential to be a more competitive game, that team with a less impressive season overall should be in instead of a team who overperformed what was expected but didn't really play anybody. So like they're saying like James Madison at 12-1 doesn't deserve to get in over 10-2 Notre Dame because Notre Dame has the potential to lose by less against somebody. They don't even really have the potential to win the game. I don't think anybody's arguing they're going to win the Natty. They're just saying that they're not going to lose as badly, which I think is like kind of a dog shit argument.
Yeah, but this is going to hurt and help my case here. I think you still want a competitive game though, because at the end of the day, you have a product to put out, right? It's the same as the NFL. At this point, there's a lot of money involved in this. And if you just have these boring ass games, and then it kind of goes through the whole point of some of these teams that are going to sit for 3 weeks where the other ones get to play a little earlier. They basically get a free practice. I mean, so they're getting rewarded for being bad. I don't know. So the other thing is
none of them are bad. That's the thing. It's like they're not getting rewarded for being bad. They're not bad.
I'd have to take a serious look at some of these schedules that, especially in the conferences that they're in, these teams like a JMU and a Tulane aren't playing your top ranked teams. And in fact, they're probably in the top 25 because of conference representation.
So they all have top. Well, I don't think Tulane has any top 25 wins. They might. So here's my thing. I brought the receipts on this. I did a little bit of research before we started recording here. So I went back to the beginning of the CFP era. So this is the college playoff era. It started in 2014. So it's 2014 to present. And I'm going to give you all of the winners in order, right? So like 2014 Ohio State won, 15 Alabama, 16 Clemson, 17 Alabama, 18 Clemson, 19 LSU, 20 Alabama, 21 Georgia, 22 Georgia, 23 Michigan, 24 Ohio State. Right? So like 4 colleges really only. Of those games, 1, 2, 3 of them were close games. Close games meaning 1 score or less. Of those 3 close games, only one of them was an overtime game. That was 2017 Alabama and Georgia. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of those games, so 3 were close. 6 of them were absolute blowouts. 2 or more score differential. The closest one of those games being 33-18 when Georgia blew out Alabama in 2021. And just to kind of give you, and then there was one good game that was like a score and a half. It was Ohio State at Notre Dame last year, which was 34-23. So it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a blowout, but it wasn't really that close.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna run down the scores for you. So 2014, Ohio State blows out Oregon 42-20. Ohio State was ranked number 4, Oregon ranked number 2. Alabama in 2015 ranked number 2, beats Clemson 45-40. That I marked as a close game. 2016 Clemson number 2 beats number 1 Alabama 35-31, 4-point game. That's close. 2017 number 4 Alabama beats number 3 Georgia in a close game. This is 26-23. This is the only overtime game on the sheet. 2018 number 2 Clemson blows out number 1 Alabama 44-16. 2019 LSU, number 1 LSU blows out number 3 Clemson 42-25. Alabama
just on that game real quick. On that LSU game, I just want you to remember who was on that offense. Nobody was touching that team. And I think
I understand, but this just kind of
go ahead. You finish, and then I got some rebuttal for you.
Okay, 2020, number 1 Alabama blows out number 3 Ohio State 52-24. 2021, number 3 Georgia blows out number 1 Alabama 33-18. 2022, number 3 Georgia blows out. I have this wrong somehow because it says number 3 TCU, but Georgia was not ranked 1. TCU was not ranked 1. Georgia blew TCU out 65-7.
That was a bad game, and I agree with that one.
2023, number 1 Michigan blows out number 2 Washington 34-13.
So that's where the current playoff, right? Or did this? No, this started last year. Where did the 12-team playoff start?
The 12-team last year.
Was it last year?
And then 2024, Ohio State has a good game against number 8 Ohio State played number 7 Notre Dame in a good game 34-23. So those are all of those. And then
we watched the Super Bowl 44-0.
Only 3 times in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in 11 years. So 3 times in 11 years has the number 1 seed won. The number 1 seeded team won. And I have some other things, but I don't want to over talk you if you have a point. It's just based on the games.
Yeah.
This is just to establish the fact that anyone who says that JMU or Tulane doesn't deserve to be in here, 6 national championship games were absolute blowouts. So I don't want to hear that you care about the score.
Yeah, but at the same time, this college football, go ahead.
And it goes more to my point that this goes back farther than the 12-team playoff, because this goes all the way back to when there were just 4 teams and they were just picking the teams that they thought were the best 4 teams, and there were none of these considerations, and there were still blowout games.
Yeah.
So, but we just know that the committee has no leg to stand on when it comes to that.
I mean, the committee's a fucking joke, but at least last year we got a more competitive game, and I understand a few of those were a little closer, but they were, 2 most of those were two really good teams. We're talking super high, except for that LSU game. Both of those have very competitive, very good fucking NFL players. On some of those, I think the closer games. Both of those teams, I think, produced insane NFL players that we're watching today. And in some of those playoffs, I know for a fact because I'm an OU fan, OU was in a lot of those 4-man playoffs as well, didn't make it, but also produced high fucking, super high competent NFL players like Jalen Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown for a few years. There's a lot of people there. What's different about now and where I'm kind of going with this, sorry.
Go ahead.
What's different now is one of the reasons to also introduce this new kind of playoff bracket was to allow these blowouts to hopefully not happen. On top of that, allow schools, because there was an issue, and I think it was still Notre Dame, a few years back when it was still a 4-man playoff where they were undefeated. There was a team that was undefeated, and they didn't get into the top 4. So they were like, yo, what the fuck? So the whole talk was, it's time to expand the playoffs. It's ran out. It's time to get into a real playoff. And part of me kind of goes to this, and this is the one I was saying earlier, it's going to help and kind of hurt my point here. We look at like March Madness. I know that's a very different sport. They're playing it very differently. So many different things could happen. But sort of like March Madness, where you have that fucking school that probably doesn't even belong in March Madness that just comes out of nowhere and fucking goes on a fucking run. And that's kind of the hope that I think we're wanting to see in football. Now, what this representation is going to do, so I'm kind of talking in circles, so please forgive me. What this representation, I think, will do is hopefully bring money to these programs. So where the ACC or any of these, lower level kind of conferences, hopefully they start getting money. They're playing big games against big schools. Let's give them some money, but they have to put the product out there. At this point in time, we have the transfer portal and we have money in college football. So when that's being said, we need to also, those teams should get represented in some way so they can get more money for the program to actually be a competitive school. But at the same time, like, to get more money, we have to have better games. We can't have this. And as far as the people that go in, Alabama should not be in. They're a 3-loss school. Alabama should not be in at all. I did pull up the rankings. A team that you didn't really... Where does this window keep going? Hold on. A team that you didn't really mention that I think should be in is Texas. As much as I fucking hate Texas.
I don't know that. I mean, maybe if you're counting momentum.
So it's momentum / who they lost to. Their first loss was to number 2 Ohio State by 7 points. At that point, you and I sat on here and said, damn, Arch Manning is a fraud. He's no good, blah, blah. They go on a couple.
I didn't say that.
I did.
Don't put that on me.
I did. They go on a couple little runs and then he gets hurt. They do lose to Florida. Florida is where I think a lot of people keep pointing to and go, hey, they lost to Florida, who's an unranked school at this point. They haven't been good at all. And then out of nowhere, Manning says, you know what? It's time to play fucking football. And then they beat Oklahoma. They beat Kentucky. They beat Mississippi State. Not good schools. But the one of the schools you named, they beat Vanderbilt. Then the only other problem is another top 4 ranked school, they lose to Georgia. So 2 of their 3 losses are to extremely high ranked, high performing schools. So to me, I mean, I'm looking at Texas. I'm with you on Vandy. I think there's just better options out there than fucking Tulane and JMU, because at the end of the day, if the college football programs want to make more money and bring more money in to whether it's through these TV deals or whatever's going on, we got to have a good product on the field. And then I also, just to kind of cap my stuff off, and then I'll let you make whatever points you got to make to go against me. This 3-week wait period is also fucking stupid. I get it that it's running up against Christmas and whatnot, but they either need to start the season later or figure out a better schedule, because waiting 3 weeks for these other schools while we potentially watch shitty fucking matchups, like the best matchup on here is going to be Alabama, OU, and maybe Miami, Texas A&M, even though Miami has a 75-year-old quarterback. But to me, though, with JMU and Tulane, I mean, at the same time, any given
Tulane
Saturday,
Ole Miss might be a better game than people think because they lost their head coach. They lost one of their offensive play caller. They lost their offensive play caller. Like, Ole Miss has a lot going on right now that.
That's true. To me, any given Saturday, we just watched the Saints beat the Bucks. So
they could play like
shit. Guess anything could happen.
Anyhow, to kind of piggyback off, or not piggyback, but just to address some of the things you said. I don't think you were directly really arguing against me with like you had some points in there and I should have wrote it down, but I didn't. But there were some things that I wasn't. I mean, I don't think you were directly contradicting anything I was saying. As far as the March Madness comparison with the at-large teams, I mean, obviously it's a much bigger pool.
Yeah.
It's a giant like month-long tournament. The games are like way more condensed. There's less logistically to it because they are playing in centralized locations. Whatever. I don't know. It feels like football is a little bit more. I know that it's a completely different beast. You were talking about the money portion of it, but and like the bet, what people want to see better football. The NIL kind of restricts these smaller colleges from being able to afford better players. So I don't think that that's really set up for them to be more competitive. As well as like, oh, you had a point. This is what I wanted to talk directly on was you were talking about like a lot of NFL level talent. College football fans, I don't think are very much concerned. There are a good amount of college football fans who do not watch the NFL and do not care about NFL level talent.
Yeah.
I don't think that producing NFL level talent means anything when it comes to like playing in this college football playoff or like this. It's about the talent of the team, not the talent of the individuals. I'm not using, and I don't think anybody should be using the college football playoff as an NFL scouting combine, like a pre-combine just to see what they do, like a Senior Bowl game or something.
The only point I was really making just real quick on that was some of those blowouts were from teams that literally did produce high-performing athletes in the NFL.
Sure, today. And I mean, there's 2019 LSUs, and they're going to be 2019 LSU is a genuine exception to the rule. I mean, they're maybe the best college football team ever.
I don't disagree.
There's just so few of those teams in history. I just don't think that that's really something that you should be considering when you're considering the format because, you know, maybe once every 25 years you're going to have a team like that. And
it's the reason I hate Joe Burrow.
You can't really game plan for that. The one thing, the last thing that I had written down here that I want to touch on before we get into how I would fix this problem, which if you want to prepare the graphic that I sent you, bless you.
Thank you.
Is I went ahead and I looked at the schedules for all of the national champions since 2014 too. So all the schedules in the CFP era. And I'll just, kind of start off with Ohio State in 2014 again. They only played one top 10 team that season in a win in Michigan State. They won the conference championship against number 13 Wisconsin, but only played one top 10 ranked team. Beat number 13 Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship. However, they lost to an unranked Virginia Tech team. So that was your national champion. They didn't play anybody else of significance that year. So they played Michigan State, Wisconsin in the conference championship game, and they took a bad loss to a bad Virginia Tech team. They won the national championship. 2015, Alabama. They played, and there's going to be examples like on both sides of the fence here. So this isn't just all like leading towards one conclusion. Just think of it what you will. I just want to put the stats out there. They lost to number 15 Ole Miss. 2015 Alabama lost to number 15 Ole Miss. They beat number 8 Georgia, number 2 LSU, number 9 Texas A&M, number 3 Michigan State. So they played 4 top 10 opponents, beat them all, and lost to the 15th ranked team that season. 2016 Clemson lost to unranked Pitt and they only played one top 10 team that they beat, which is Louisville. And they also beat number 12 Florida State that year, so that's of significance, but only played one team in the top 10. It was Louisville. They won that game, lost to an unranked Pitt team. They won the national championship. 2017 Alabama, they lost to number 6 Auburn, and they beat number 3 Florida State. Those were the only two significant AP matchups they had that year. 2018 Clemson, they were a no-loss team, had no top 10 opponents before the playoffs. So they played nobody, they lost to nobody, won the national championship. 2019 LSU had also no losses. They beat number 9 Texas, number 7 Florida, number 9 Auburn, number 3 Alabama, number 4 Georgia. The most impressive team. They beat 5 top 10 ranked opponents, including, number 3, number 4, 2 different number 9s at the time. So there's that. 2020 Alabama, no loss team. They beat number 3 Georgia, number 7 Florida, didn't play anybody else significant that season. 2021 Georgia, they lost to number 3 Alabama. They won against number 3 Clemson and number 8 Arkansas, played 3 top 10 teams, lost to 1, went 1-2 in those games, won the national championship. 2022 Georgia was a no-loss team who only played 1 top 10 team, which was number 1 Tennessee, who they beat. 2023 is no-loss Michigan. They beat number 10 Penn State, number 2 Ohio State, played no one else significant that year. In 2024, Ohio State lost to number 3 Oregon, lost to unranked Michigan, beat number 3 Penn State and number 5 Indiana. So they played 3 top 10 games, went 1-2 in those games, and also lost to an unranked team. I say all that to say this. I don't think that it necessarily matters. I think that this kind of proves the fact that strength of schedule is not something that should be weighed above everything else when it comes to teams. There were plenty of teams on this list that beat no one is significant during the regular season and were able to achieve a national championship.
I think that's also part of the reason to expand the college playoffs too, to allow some of the schools that maybe also went through the same thing and with that same argument, especially some that end up undefeated, get them in. But I have your list up here as well.
Yeah, so I wanted to point that out, and then I wanted to go into this. This is what I would do to fix it. So you're going to see this graphic over here. I would split. There are 126 CFB teams right now. I would split them into 3 divisions, 3 tiers, if you will. Each tier having its own championship game, but only one tier competing for the actual national championship, right? So you're going to have the title shot tier, which is this top tier in red. And it's going to work a little bit like soccer, where the 2 teams that finish second to last and last place are relegated to tier 2, and the 2 teams who play in the championship, the best 2 teams from tier 2, get to be bumped up to the title tier and play against those teams in the following season. Similarly, the bottom 5 teams in tier 2, so there's 20 or 10 more teams in tier 2 than there is in tier 1. And so there's the bottom 5 will get bumped down to tier 3. And then the top 5 tier 3 teams will be able to advance to tier 2 and then have the potential to continue advancing, whatever. So I think over time that this would resolve a lot of issues. And so based on this, this is how you would have to schedule your games. You would only be allowed 2 games outside of your tier. So you can only play 2 games outside of your tier, so that we're not talking about all of these like bad wins. I think that comes up a lot. It's like they beat up on bad teams. Well, how about this? We're going to play it a little bit more like the NFL. You're going to have your own, you're in this tier. You can call it a conference, you can call it a division, you can call it whatever you want, but you have to play those teams all but 2 games. And the other 2 games you get, pick whomever, schedule whomever. But at the end of the day, you're just chalking up. And And I'd also like maybe have something where it has to be like the first 2 games of the year. So you're just shaking the rust off or something. I don't know. And then you get to really play in almost like a preseason, 4-year season. But right now, this is how I would break up these 3 divisions. And this is purely based on this year. And these aren't in any particular order. This is just, I dragged the things in tier list maker into the thing. So this isn't like rank 1 through whatever. This is just like, if you wanted to break this tier up into like 4 divisions, similar to the NFL, I did put 32 teams in tier 1, right? So Ohio State, Arizona State, Oklahoma, Indiana, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, and also we're getting rid of the conferences. This would abolish the conferences. Texas, Ole Miss, Arizona, Baylor, BYU, Miami, Michigan, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Mizzou, LSU, A&M, Oregon, Pitt, Vandy. I'm putting Tulane in there. This is based off of this year's schedule. So this is kind of basically like an AP top 25 plus 6 teams. Washington, Utah, Houston, Navy, Georgia Tech, USC, SMU, Virginia, Texas Tech. That would be tier 1. So those would be the people who are actually competing for the national championship, the college football national championship. And they would have to schedule each other for 12 games, and they could get 2 games out of conference, out of tier. And then that same logic goes to tier 2 and to tier 3.
So what happens? What are your thoughts? Like, let's say a team like Maryland, gets scheduled against a team like Ohio State, right? It's Maryland, Ohio State, and then Maryland pulls off the upset and then also has a good year. So they'll be able to move up to tier 2. Could you imagine the arguments where Maryland's like, well, we just beat Ohio State and Ohio State just won the national championship. Why the fuck do we only get to tier 2? We should be a tier 1 school.
Well, that's just like
playing a game here. Like that,
yeah, sure.
Happen,
I mean, that's like the college. It's essentially like the college national champion saying that they want to play in the NFL playoffs, right? The majority of your competition is Pee Wee. Like, you're not playing the big boys week in and week out. So you might play a team and upset a team, but that doesn't mean you're going on an all-time run. And with this, you're restricted from doing that. Right. So you don't even have that expectation going in. You can talk about it. You can say, oh, we would have won the Natty that year. You wouldn't have. OK, just like Ohio State couldn't win the Super Bowl, just like whoever the fucking Canadian Football League champion is could not come to the NFL and win a game.
Sure.
All that stuff. It's just that you just say too bad, so sad. You have the opportunity to play your best. And so the one thing I didn't mention is within these tiers. So tier 2 and tier 3, they have their own tiered championships, right? They have their conference championship or whatever you want to call it.
Make it a little more important, I would think.
Yeah, they play till the end of the year, and then there's like a tier 2 title and a tier 3 title, and you're playing for a championship in that league. Essentially, your own little semi-league, and those are the bowl games, right? So you have a playoff format where you have a bracket for each tier, like a playoff bracket for each tier. It would be maybe like an 8-team bracket for tier 1, a 16-team bracket for tier 2 and 3, maybe. And then once you get closer, so you have your quarterfinal, semifinal, and final, those are all bowl games. That's where you put all the bowl games. They're all the playoff games. And then you're going to get these smaller schools, right? Because, the fucking FIU is going to have an opportunity to play for the tier 3 title, right? And they're going to get a bowl game from that, and they're going to be put on national TV. Why? Because it's the championship for that tier, right? It's still going to be televised.
You put WV all the way down at tier 3, huh?
They weren't very good this year. They were not good. I put my own team. Syracuse is down there too.
That makes sense. Ooh, my brother, he's got to watch this and see OSU sitting in tier 3. I love it. I like the idea. That's what at the end of the day, that's what really sucks about being a fan and passionate. It's a lot of work. It seems like you put into this all for these people to not give a fuck, but I think it's a great thing. And kind of what you were saying, these are your bowl games, right? So make those make more sense. And
also don't make them optional for teams, right? So if you're like Notre Dame said that they would turn down any bowl game. Well, Notre Dame, if they were playing in a playoff bracket, they wouldn't be turning down the bowl game because it'd be a playoff game for them, right? So Nebraska's not going to say, no, I'm not going to play that bowl game. That's actually the semifinal game of your conference championship. And so you're playing in it anyway.
Each of these tiers would also be similar to NFL, right? Where, in each tier, I mean, you'd have to break it up a left, right, something just to make it make sense. So you have a playoff schedule that makes sense in your best team. So if Virginia, right, that's just regular Virginia. Yeah. It's not. If Virginia goes undefeated, but they're saying, well, it's Virginia. I don't know. The tier system helps. Like, hey, you're still playing great schools, so it's got to go by your record. So if Alabama's 10-3, but Navy is 13-0, Navy is in, Alabama's out. If that's the final, spot.
Yeah, and here's the other thing about this is you're playing 12 games against the same people in your tier, right?
Yeah.
You're probably, I think that this system almost certainly would eliminate undefeated and two loss teams.
Yeah, that's got to go away. Yeah. And that's been part of the problem is like you said, like they, it's not only that we're playing shitty teams and we're just getting an easy pass. Like these teams are still good. They're still winning national championships, but it was always wild to me. Like back in the day, if you weren't undefeated, you weren't top 4. You weren't getting into the playoffs. And so expansion allows teams to fucking get a break. Like imagine if the NFL was like that. Well, you weren't undefeated, so you're not getting in. Like it's happened once in the history of the NFL. So
yeah. So I mean, like Georgia, for example, like Georgia can't just, they can't play UCLA, have a game off, and then come play Alabama and win. Like they might beat 3 top 10 teams because they're every other week they're playing a soft team.
Yeah.
In this format, you're playing the harder teams every week. So you're gonna fatigue is gonna play more of a factor. Like your conditioning, you're probably not getting out of a season with 1 or 2 losses. You're probably losing 3 or 4 of these games. And head-to-head matchups are going to matter significantly more. Like I said, it's geared more towards an NFL style playoff, but I think that this solves a lot of the issues with all of this nonsense, like kind of just guesswork that's essentially the college football playoff.
No, 100%. What are, and this is my ignorance showing now because I'm just, I'm from Oklahoma, so I'm a fan of Oklahoma. I pay attention when I can. We only have one good team. This was our major league until we got a basketball team, right?
Right.
What are the advantages of these conferences? Is it TV time? Is it like what? So what do we do? Like this, I agree. Kind of like abolish conferences because the only thing I could think of is TV time. So we're going to put SEC on the TV. We're going to put the Big 12 because they were kind of or the Big 10. Those were the next ones in line, kind of behind the SEC. Like, what are the point of the conferences? Right now,
yeah, I would get rid. I would get rid of them. So I think
I understand that, but what was the point of them to begin with?
Oh, I think just to create a more established rankings, so to have people who you're supposed to play. Right, you need so many in-conference games, and I think that was kind of it's a lesser way of doing what we've done here. Right, it's kind of a softer way of saying okay, well, you have to play some teams that are kind of not only regionally relevant but also kind of good.
Yeah.
But I think it's also it was for small school support. So you have Boston College at the bottom of the ACC, or Boston College is football. Here's the thing too, is if they are going to have conferences, I think that all of your sports should have to be in the same conference. I hate having to think of if Boston College.
There are different conferences throughout.
Schools are a part of different conferences and different sports.
So because once you kind of brought that up, I was going to say, well, then this is going to fuck up things like basketball and, baseball and shit. But if they're different in each, that's so stupid. Yeah. Abolish the conference just based off that line alone, abolish the fucking conferences regardless, no matter what you do with it. That's stupid.
Yeah. And I think that this also gives you the opportunity now is you're going to form, I think, more better rivalries within these tiers, right?
Yeah, have it. You still win a championship. You still go through playoffs. You get to play in, the top, all 3 of those. Each tier should get the 3 biggest bowl games. So the Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl. Are those the top three, I guess? Whatever they are, right?
Orange Bowl,
those are your three championships are those top three big
that's
bowl games. So that way, those schools, a school like Air Force and fucking, I don't know, I'm trying to read, Raging Cajuns. I don't even know where the fuck that is. So Air Force and Raging Cajuns are the two best in tier 3. They're playing in the goddamn Orange Bowl this year, right? And now that could explode their So we're talking about money. It brings them money. I like this, Doug. You did a great job here. We don't even talk about the NFL anymore. We're just going to fix college football. So the Saturday boys and the old men can fucking get their lives on track. I mean, the Raging Cajuns, that's my new favorite team.
That's Louisiana, by the way.
I mean, that makes sense, but I like it. They got to sort something out, and I understand Notre Dame's just being a bunch of crybaby bitches. Notre Dame looked like shit last year, right? Didn't they make like top 4, or were they top 2, or where were they last year? Because they were
I can't even be like, I had it on my fucking sheet because they were 7 and they were the 7th seed in the playoffs. I don't know what they were.
Was it the year before? Were they in the top 4 before? Because I thought they were close one year. It was finally like, all right, we're letting Notre Dame in. I get it. There's history there. We got an entire fucking a movie that when you were a child, you watched that movie and then you said, I want to go play fucking football. Anybody that saw Rudy immediately says, I'm gone. I'm playing football. I get it, but I agree with the crybaby.
They were the AP number 2 team last year. They were just the 7th seed in the playoffs for some reason. I don't know.
Huh. So I get the bitching. The thing that the bitching could do is change everything. The good thing is, I think overall college football is headed in a better place.
Oh, here's the other thing, Billy. In college football, Notre Dame and UConn are both unaffiliated teams, right? So they don't belong to a conference. So they can't even like compare themselves the same way that other conference teams do.
I like the tier ranking. It's got to be better. And no matter what you call it, a tier, we're going to just create one big SEC, one Big 12, one Big 10, whatever the fuck. Those are the only, I guess there is.
Even get rid of, if it's me personally, I'm getting rid of those names because there's stigma attached to them.
Sure. Call it whatever you want. But it's got to make sense, because a school like, West Virginia, for example, who, at one point, it didn't last for very long, but a couple of years, they ran the Big 12. They're still a prominent school in the Big 12. Like, you can't call it tier 3, right? You got to call it something, make these guys feel a little better. But like, look, this is where you're at. It's the lowest. You want to be the big boys, work your ass off and build a program.
It also gives you some incentive to for players to stick around. Not only do you have NIL money now, but it's also like, say you want to win a national title with your team. Your team's a tier 2 team. You have to stay there. You have to win a tier. You have to at least compete in a tier 2 championship so that you can advance into the actual national championship league conference or whatever. Could
help the NFL too. Get that quarterback one more year playing. You get to graduate and you're going to go into the NFL with solid access experience because you're playing against the best people in the country. Some of these schools produce good players. Don't get me wrong. But your better players are typically from the top schools. But I think it's time to move on to the other side of the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that was my way of fixing the college football playoffs. Now let's get into the NFL a little bit.
All right, so where do we want to go with this? We want to talk about our games real quick. I don't have much to say about mine.
Let's talk about your thoughts a little bit on the what happened with the Chiefs. Are the Texans just that good?
All right, so here's a quick rundown of my game real quick. I'm going to go ahead and open up some NFL here for you guys. We went into this game with 3 of our starting offensive linemen basically out. Two of them are out for a little bit. One's on IR, which is not good. It's a guy that we drafted to be our left tackle. And we started kind of playing well.
I saw that, but I also saw the guy who was playing left tackle was like shutting down Stingley.
for them being the number one defense and two,
or not Stanley. Who's the pass rusher?
I can't even think of it. Dude, both of them are fucking phenomenal. There's two there, and he had
whoever
one.
That guy was playing left tackle was absolutely
100%. His numbers are great. I might have something to read off in a second. A lot of people, so I saw a lot of shit today and yesterday. It was
what's his name? Can we give him a shout out?
Something Pole. Let me see if I can find the thing. It's something Pole, Pole. He's been on our practice squad, and we had no choice but to elevate him.
He looked very good.
I cannot find it. I will get it before, but honestly, Wanye Morris was the left tackle. Wanye Morris goes down, play 3. We are down to our last offensive lineman that's available to fucking play. And it's this guy, Pole. I agree with you. He did well. I'm seeing a lot of shit of people saying, do not compare Mahomes to Brady ever again. Brady would never. Look, Brady is the GOAT for a reason, and Mahomes may pass him. Mahomes may not pass him.
Okay, so let's if we want to talk about that for a second, let's just back up. Let me give an opinion on that real quick. I don't Brady, in my mind, I think a lot of people had signed off that Mahomes was just destined to be the best or whatever, but in my mind, he had not reached Brady tier yet, or knocking on the door but not there yet. However, as much as I do dislike Patrick Mahomes, his peak play was high. So if you're talking about peaks, his peak was higher than Brady's peak. As far as like an all-around NFL player, Brady is a better career quarterback at this time. Mahomes has a higher peak and was a more talented player at this time. I think that I don't know that that's that arguable, but I don't think anybody should be saying anything other than that at this time, just because like Mahomes is what, 8 years in?
9
years in. He's half of Brady's career at this point. Like, let's let him play his career out, and then we can talk about it afterwards. I don't want to talk about the whole career thing. Brady will be the GOAT, and the conversation doesn't open until the next person retires, until their career is over, in my opinion. I think that is when you can look back at the entirety, because you're too filled with hatred. And I'm going to bring a NASCAR reference into this. So if you're not a NASCAR fan, I apologize. You're going to have to follow along with me a little bit, but Billy, you're going to understand this. If you were a NASCAR fan in the early 2000s and you were not specifically a Jeff Gordon fan, he was the biggest piece of shit. Like, if you didn't love him, you hated him.
He was your Brady or your Mahomes or whoever,
The last 3 years of his career and post-retirement, that's when all of the okay, well, yeah, we were a little bit hard on him. He was great, and everything turns around. And that's how it goes in every sport. Like once the person, when you're in it and you're emotionally attached and they're devastating and affecting you on that emotional level week to week by winning games, by winning races in that case, by putting up stats, whatever, you're not going to have an objective opinion. So you can't even begin to consider who is a better overall career quarterback until he retires, because you're not going to have any sympathy for the guy. You're too close to it, is essentially what I'm saying. And I just think that is if you look in this sport and any other sport, look at how your opinion softens about people over time. Like if you're a Bears fan or a Lions fan, and I mean, I'm going to say Brett Favre, but I know that there were some other controversial things with Brett Favre, but you probably softened on Brett Favre closer to his retirement / post his retirement. And when it was 2006 and it was the middle of his career, you probably hated him. And then you didn't recognize his greatness until after he retired. And the same thing with probably LT, the same thing with maybe Peyton Manning, if you were a fan of a team that he beat up on, like Chargers fans, for example. I don't want to hear a single Chargers fan who was a Chargers fan in the 2000s say that Tom Brady or Peyton Manning is the GOAT, because the entire 2000s, when they were shitting on Phillip Rivers and those teams every year in the playoffs, they were probably saying, oh, they're overrated. They're a piece of shit. They're not as good. Like it's inflated. Like it's all the defense and all this blah, blah, XYZ. So let's not pretend like we're being objective about Mahomes right now. If you're a Mahomes fan, you're probably overreacting in a positive way. If you're not a Mahomes fan, you're probably overreacting in a negative way. And we need to wait till he retires to be objective about it. I'm sorry. That's all.
Yeah, no, you're fine. There's the one fact is we take the first 9 years of each. Mahomes is ahead. Doesn't matter. I am with you. I agree with that. Like I hated Brady. I don't know. Similar to how the situation I'm in now, if you're not a Kansas City fan, you hate Mahomes. If you weren't a Patriots fan, you hated Brady. And then once he retired, you're like, that motherfucker was good. He's the best to ever fucking do it. It is what it is. You're kind of similar thing, just to kind of bring it a little bit in. Antonio Gates. I fucking hated Antonio Gates. You know what he retired as? One of the best tight ends ever played the fucking game. And I'll LT, same thing.
It's in the Hall of Fame.
These guys are legends. And I think there's a couple things with that in mind. One, I don't like Joe Burrow, and ever since we started doing this podcast, my team has sucked. So we're going to have to look at this for next season. I don't know what's going on here. I think there's bad juju. But I like Joe Burrow because he's fucking good. He's shit all over Oklahoma in college. He ruined another potential Super Bowl in the NFL for the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't like Josh Allen because Josh Allen is really fucking good. We can't beat him in the regular season. The only person I like out of all like the top quarterbacks right now that's not Mahomes is Lamar Jackson. You know why? Because he can't beat us. But goddamn, he looks good playing the football. Hated Ben Roethlisberger. The moment that man walked off the field after you're welcome, sent his ass to the retirement home, I was like, I'm kind of fucking sad. I'm not going to see seven on the field anymore.
Big Ben had bigger problems than NFL problems. Right? That guy needs to.
But with all that being said,
I think he killed a guy in a motorcycle accident, allegedly. I don't know.
There's a whole lot. It's so many things. I mean, the AFC North has some wild shit going on. But
yeah, a bunch of criminals they have.
The one thing I have learned, though, and I think that this podcast has at least helped, and maybe this is where the football gods are like, you fucking pussy. I've learned to let's start appreciating greatness. Now, and that's Burrow. Understanding Josh Allen is a dog. Lamar Jackson's a dog. Caleb Williams, I shit all over him. That man might be a fucking dog in a few years. I don't know.
No, Gotta appreciate. Williams is Ryan Fitzpatrick, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're probably right. You got to appreciate greatness when you're watching it. That's what I feel like I'm watching, especially with this Kansas City team. I watched it with Mahomes, and yes, worst career stats ever in a single game. But
this past game was his worst career stats.
He had like a 16% fucking QBR. Like it was bad.
14 of 33, 160 yards and 3 interceptions. Hey, I just want to let everybody know that's Bryce Young every other week. Yeah. So stop saying he's good. If you're shitting on Mahomes right now, stop saying Bryce Young's a good quarterback. All right, keep going.
2 of the interceptions look like a few years ago. Kelsey literally just fucking handed off a ball to a guy. And another one was another like bounce. It was to Juju, I believe, or Rice. It bounced right off of their fucking hands into the defender. Mahomes made one bad throw, but this is the Mahomes that I've been watching all of his career. He's going to take that shot down the field, and I love every moment of it because ever since Tyreek Hill left, we haven't seen that. So Mahomes, yes, in his very awesome MVP year, threw 50 touchdowns, but he also threw like 15 fucking interceptions because he was launching that ball down the field. Saying Tyreek's got to get this, right? And sometimes they're off. Sometimes they're on. Quarterbacks throw fucking interceptions. It happens. I don't care about that. I'm watching this man put his body on the line every fucking year. And what bothers me about this team is we watched us get decimated in the Super Bowl last year with a beat up offensive line, a makeshift offensive line. We moved Joe Thuney from left guard to left tackle, position he has no business being at, and he gets destroyed. This is an all-pro, multi-Super Bowl winning fucking guard, not just with us, with the Patriots as well, who looked like he had never played a snap of fucking football in his life. We're doing the same thing this year. So that is my thoughts on what you were kind of alluding to earlier. if we can fix this offensive line and limp into the playoffs, which we'll get there on how that's possible, yeah, I want to see it. But if we're not going to fix this line, why the fuck would we be trying to win games right now? Because I'm at the point where changes have to be made, and we cannot take a pick 19, a pick 20, because we limped our ass in the playoffs and then went out first round. We can't take a pick 32 if we're not going to or 31 and not going to go and actually compete to win the game. I'm fine if we lay it all out on the line and we lose the game. It's going to hurt because it's a fucking Super Bowl. What I'm not fine with is getting all the way to the Super Bowl and getting beat 44-0. Because at the end of the day, the other points that we scored were garbage time points. That's what we're seeing with the product that we're putting on the field right now. This team is too fucking talented. Love or hate the Chiefs. I don't care what people say. We're just the new Patriots. Don't give a shit. This team is, in my opinion, especially after watching that defense, and I know Texans offense kind of sucks. When that defense wants to play and when this offense is cooking, I think it is the most talented team on the field. The problem is we have been incredibly inconsistent this year, and this was one of those games. We could have won this game. This is the number one defense in the NFL, and I've heard a lot of saying this could quite honestly be the best defense to ever play in the NFL. This could be
lately too, to be honest.
Huh?
I've been hearing that a lot today.
They were good. And I mean,
they are very good.
Each of their D tackles, their edge rushers, 10.5 sacks apiece. Nobody's ever done that in the history of the NFL. They're keeping teams scoring minimal points, minimal yards. They're destroying. But we had every opportunity.
Issa Pole or whatever. Issa Pole.
That's it.
ESAPOLE. However you would say that. Dude's a dog. Hey, I want to kind of keep it moving along so we don't get too tangential here. But I will say my thoughts on this game. Run blocking has got to get fixed for the Chiefs.
It's a point of here, and let me just run off a couple things because I'm with you. It's a point of saying it's time for Andy Reid to go. We saw it in Philly. He started kind of coaching like this. They ran him out of town. I don't want that. I think we need to give respect to, I don't know how coaches get in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if it's the same as players. If it is, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's a great coach, but sometimes things become stale. We're going to see that in the AFC North. Probably going to talk about it in a second. The prediction right now is at least 3 of those coaches could potentially be somewhere else next year.
We should just trade them all to each other, honestly.
I think that would be fantastic for the entire AFC North.
Yeah, so, but kind of on point here. Did want to just say the only thing about the game that I wanted to comment on is the run blocking. And this is what I've been talking about the last 2 podcasts with Rashee Rice, where I think his overutilization, like them going after him, is going to start to hurt them. 8 targets, which is twice as many as any other receiver. They were still Mahomes just, I don't know if it's offensive scheming or he's just Mahomes' safety blanket, but he's still trying to force him the ball. 4 of 8 caught 4 of 8 for 34 yards and no TDs. Now you can say that the defense is great or whatever, but you're still, and one of those, I did see one that was a blatant drop on his part, but I think that it's spurring from the overutilization, right? Like, you need to let Xavier Worthy be more involved. You need to let Tyquan Thornton be more involved. I know they're taking deep shots to Tyquan, but maybe get him in some intermediate routes. Maybe Hollywood Brown, one of those guys. I think you need to pick 3 of them. One of them's going to be like a wild card guy on some like weird plays or whatever. But, Travis Kelce also had a bad day. 5 targets, 1 reception. But I think the overutilization of Rashee Rice, like I get that he's a little bit fresher, had 6-game break or whatever you want to say, came back spurring, but they need to balance the offense out if they're going to win.
I truly think, and it's not just because we lost some of the games too, because honestly, I've seen, this happens to teams. They start off slow. I've seen your team constantly start off slow. The first 6 games are just god awful. And then you guys turn it on. And then you make a run that scares the shit out of other teams.
For sure.
I don't have a problem with us starting slow without Rashee, but I do think that 6-game suspension hurt him. Not just the team, but I think it hurt him. And yes, he came out high flying, like, holy shit, what's going to happen? And then it's dropped off. And part of it is exactly what you're saying. I think we missed that so much that we thought that's clearly what we need to do. We just need to get the ball to him. We didn't establish a run game like we have. The games that we've won, you just look at what we've done. We've ran the fucking ball successfully. Again, we're back to another loss where Patrick Mahomes is the leading rusher. Anytime he's been leading rusher, we've lost the game.
No, you're fine. But the say all be all is it has to be balanced out, and you have to pick some guys. You're getting a little bit of Washington Commanders, too many guys in the room. Like 3 running backs shouldn't be getting touches. It's 5-6 receivers don't need receptions. You don't have to. I mean, 2 tight ends, arguably, like if you're throwing Noah Gray in there for like 1 play or whatever, that's fine. 3 targets isn't a ton.
He shit the bed too.
It might be on the higher side. 3 targets might be a little bit too much for him. He might only need to be in 1 or 2 plays, or 1 or 2 actual routes run. Like he unless you're really transitioning, but you need to keep a core group of guys in and scheme around them. I think that they just have, and like I said, it's similar to the Commanders where they're just trying to play every healthy player they have, and it's just not working out.
I said they should have put Noah Gray in at left tackle or something. Let them make a block. Why are we not running 2 tight end sets? Why weren't we doing things like that?
Kareem Hunt or Pacheco is going to run into a wall some game or a lot of games and just not be able to effectively rush. You got to give them the reps because you're not fooling anybody. It's not like, it doesn't matter who you put in there. So it's not like changing the personnel is like getting defenses to like change their coverage or whatever. You're still getting shut down regardless of who. So keep a guy in there, get some reps, get some familiarity, let them play ball. And I think at this point you got to put in Kareem Hunt, first and second down, and then bring in Pacheco third down potentially.
Or start playing Brashard Smith because he is, I think he is the future. I mean, there's 2 things in this.
Of course, but I'm saying like they're like first down Kareem Hunt, second down Pacheco, third down Brashard Smith. Like you can't play until every fucking drive. You can't play in 3 running backs.
Two things about this, just real quick for me, and then I'm kind of done because it's frustrating. One, we don't lose in the cold like this. It's not because it's December, it's whatever. I mean, we're talking about, and I'll give the defense their credit. They are fucking nasty. They are good, and I'm not discrediting their defense. What I'm discrediting the fact is I still have Patrick Mahomes as my fucking quarterback, a healthy Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback. We had every chance to win this game, and every game that we've lost this year, we had every chance to win. And we've shot ourselves in the foots. We made bad decisions. We're dropping passes in the cold to lead to interceptions. There was only 1 call in this game where I truly was like, are we fucking serious right now? Most of the time, the refs aren't on our side, so it is what it is. Call the calls, outplay it. Don't fuck up. There was one that Rashee Rice got fucking clobbered after catching the ball. It was a helmet-to-helmet contact. They didn't call that. And then he goes down to the ground with the ball. 2 seconds later, he lets the ball go. They said it was an incomplete pass. It kind of changed the course of the game, but there were other opportunities for us to do something. It's been the same all year with a banged-up offensive line or not. The problem I have is with this banged-up offensive line, I want no part of the playoffs or Super Bowl. With a healthy offensive line, I want this team to figure their shit out, make the playoffs, and go win the fucking Super Bowl because I think they absolutely can. It doesn't look like it, but I think they can if that offensive line is healthy. But I'm with you. Everything that we both just said, the run game has to get fixed. The target shares have to get fixed because when we're playing and we're doing well, it's the target shares. We had this whole saying that they almost made a fucking shirt out of. Everybody eats. We have not been doing that. Everybody is not eating, and we're making terrible, terrible fucking decisions. And at this point, it's either fix it right now, which we could have said we've lost 3 out of the last 4 or some shit like that, or 4 out of the last 5. Figure out a way to finally fix it, or fucking don't fix it and let's go in and draft well. Those are the decisions that the front office needs to be making today.
Yeah. And I mean, going from an offense that's not eating currently to a head coach that shouldn't be eating and should be homeless out of a job in Zach Taylor for the Bengals. He's just going to keep getting away with it because of Joe Burrow and how great Joe Burrow is. It's a real fucking bummer. The game is just different when Joe B's playing. This game comes down to another classic case of play call mismanagement. Oh, who's the play caller, you may ask? Well, the aforementioned Zach Taylor is that guy. And this game got turned on its head due to 2 back-to-back interceptions, one of which is a pick six, on passing plays on first down when we had a 2-score lead. Now, you might be asking yourself, Doug, why would you pass the ball on first down when you have a lead and you're trying to, kind of run the game down and you should be playing in a balanced offense? Because Zach Taylor shouldn't have a job. I started off with that, but we'll circle back around just for anybody who wasn't following along. I mean, it's the absolute stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Can I ask you
why aren't we just running the ball and milking the clock? We have a 2-score lead.
Who's your top running back? Because I see Samaje Perine, at least for this game, is your top guy.
It's Chase Brown. Samaje has been more effective, and I don't know if that's because when he's in, they're just playing more, zone, like passing defenses, because he's more of a screen guy.
Yeah.
And so those lanes are a little bit more open. Chase Brown's still the guy. But basically, this all comes down to the fact Joe Burrow is great. We should have won this game, but it doesn't matter that we didn't win. I didn't want to win this game. Somehow we still have a chance at making the playoffs. T. Higgins shouldn't have been playing, so there's player mismanagement for you. That goes on Zach Taylor as well. I mean, he clearly, after the first time out of bounds, he smacked his head and he didn't get up for 2 minutes. And then suddenly he's like in the game two plays later.
He scored a touchdown. He scored 2 touchdowns.
He had a huge day after that. But every time he got hit or hit the ground, the dude looked like a weeble wobble. He weebled, he wobbled, he wouldn't fall down, but he didn't look healthy. He should have been in the game.
Let me ask you this.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I want to ask you a quick question real quick. I've already established I'm recognizing greatness. I'm doing better. And I'm trying to live in the now and not think about it after I can't watch it anymore. I hate Joe Burrow, but I'm agreed that he's one of the best. I mean, he's easily top 5, and he may go down as, a top 10 of all time. He's top 5 in the league right now for sure. Probably top 3.
Let's just get
I want to ask you, I understand the bad play call. What happened on these interceptions? And why is Joe Burrow, who did throw 4 touchdowns, why did he throw 2 interceptions?
Oh, they weren't the best throws. I'm not giving Joe Burrow a pass. Absolutely not. One of them was a deflected, kind of line interception.
I saw the deflect, right? It was at the line of scrimmage, right? What was the second one?
I think that was just I think that he thought he could make that. He can make that throw, but in that moment is what I'm saying. He thought that he could make that throw, and it just didn't go the way that he wanted to. That is on him. I'm going to say 50% on him. The second interception, also 50% on him. They were both true interceptions. So they were thrown interceptions. They weren't
tip from another player.
Yeah, deflection, weird interceptions. 50% on the quarterback. They were both in situations where, once again, we had the lead. We should have been running the ball. There was no reason to get cute and be passing the ball on those downs in that situation. And so 50% of it I'm putting on Zach Taylor in the play calling because it's abysmal, and it's abysmal every week. And then 50% of it is Joe Burrow for just not trying to, but actually going out there and throwing the interceptions. He missed the throws. So
to piggyback off that real quick, I think Zach Taylor suffers from it more than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, one of the things I dislike about him, but he has every reason to be this way, he's a cocky son of a bitch. Do you think, even though he's basically a child in comparison to Zach Taylor, do you think Joe Burrow is confident enough to tell Zach Taylor, hey, look, let me just run this fucking offense? I understand at the end of the day, Zach Taylor's calling the plays.
Do I think?
But does Joe Burrow influence him more to say, hey, put the ball in my hands, put the ball in Nine's hands, I got this?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm not inside the building on that. I would say that Joe Burrow probably has that attitude. I think also just based on like some press conferences and some things, interviews and stuff that I've seen, he's big on like, my job is to play quarterback. Zach's job is to call the plays and coach the team. So at least to the media and to the outside world, that is the persona that he's let off. So I don't know how much behind the scenes he's like, kind of working on that situation or what he's doing. So I don't know. It could be, but based on all the information that I have available to me at this time, that's not the situation. It's not Joe Burrow being like, if he was like that, I'm fine with it still. Joe Burrow can do no wrong to me, kind of similar to how Patrick Mahomes may not be able to do any wrong to you. He might have like lesser games.
No, one of his interceptions were fucking terrible. The other two were not his fault at all. And I will never blame him for those other two, but I'm with you.
But he's still
he's still my guy. He's the best to ever play the fucking game.
He's just elite. And like I said, the game is just different with him on the field. You just have a different sense, like a different confidence and stuff. He brings more, he's dynamic in a way that he obviously makes other players better, right? So since he's coming back, and Gesicki's came back and, Tanner Hudson's he's been making plays here and there. Noah Fant's been more involved. It's like, you don't necessarily need to be good for Joe Burrow to make you look good, kind of thing. So I think that's the big difference between him and Flacco, where Flacco was going to the big guys, going to Chase, he was going to Higgins, right? And their talent was kind of carrying it. Whereas like Joe Burrow can, he doesn't have to just rely on Higgins and Chase, although he does throw to, obviously T had a huge game, and he shouldn't have been playing. Our defense seems to be okay for about half a game and then completely crumbles in big situations, but that's always been an issue.
You also can't turn the ball over twice. One of those
to
being
allow.
A pick six.
So here's the other. Yes, you can't turn the ball over twice, but here's the other thing. One of those was a pick six, so the defense didn't even have to play.
Right.
You cannot allow Josh Allen to run wide open, untouched for 20 yards.
Every team does it though.
On 3rd and 15 with 2 minutes left in the game, when you have a chance to get the ball back and potentially go down and win the game.
Little caveat on that. Last year and I believe the year before, Kansas City was a top 2 defense in the league, both in scoring and yards. And yet we let Josh Allen do that as well, with at that point arguably one of the best defensive lines in football. I'm not going to say the best because I think there's other ones out there that are great, like the Eagles last year. But top 2 defense. And
here's the other thing. We don't have no
Josh
Trey
Allen.
Hendrickson, no Shamar Stewart, right? So our number 1 pick and our, supposed to be like our big guy. And Trey Hendrickson's out for the season now. He's going to get surgery. Hopefully they just let him go after this year. I mean, it's just the juice isn't worth the squeeze at this point. We need to reallocate all of that fuck ton of money to trying to attain some other resources so that we can become better. Al Golden might have to go after 1 season. I don't necessarily like what he's done. I think we've been better in the turnover place, but I mean, the defense overall, I think is probably a little bit worse. They started out the season better, but I think overall is worse than the Lou Anarumo defense. So Al Golden might have to go, but if they do that, I mean, they need to clean the entire house out. So just let them all fucking go.
Yeah. Do you think
it won't happen? Because I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen right now. Joe Burrow it's going to come down to week 18. We're going to have a chance to win the division. We will not win the division because the Steelers will beat the Ravens and sweep them in week 18. And we will miss the playoffs and we will get the worst possible draft pick that we possibly could have gotten.
So we're going to get into that in like 2 seconds. Before we get there, do you hope, because I don't want to say think, because we've had this discussion already. Do you hope your organization says, buddy, you're done for the year? Like, we're making the executive decision to tell you you're getting paid for everything you're supposed to get paid for. We need you healthy for next year. We got a lot of work to do. And let's go ahead and just finish this season up.
I would like them to do that if we lose one more game. So if we lose against the Ravens this week, I hope that they shut them down for the season.
But at the same time,
I would never expect them. I would never expect them to bench him.
No, you can't bench your starting quarterback, no matter
with
what.
a playoff chance. I would never expect them to have him sit out as long as we have a mathematical chance of making the playoffs.
What is your percent right now? 8, 6?
I don't. We have to win out, and the Ravens have to lose like 3 games. Steelers have to lose 3 games. It's very possible because we play the Ravens, but then we play like the Dolphins, the Browns, and some other dog shit team.
It's hey, Dolphins Cardinals. Are 6 and 7, just like the Chiefs, man. They might surprise us yet.
Yeah, but the Dolphins are like an offensive team, and we're just a better offensive team. It's not like the Dolphins are shutting people out.
It's going to get interesting. I don't think he should have came back. I think I'd have a different story if you guys went in and beat Buffalo.
We should have beat Buffalo. That's the thing is
But if you beat Buffalo, there is a legitimate reason to believe the Bengals are going to the playoffs.
Well, here's the thing is there's a legitimate reason to believe that Buffalo is going to miss the playoffs.
I'm hoping so. We're about to get into that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. All right, so we are back just real quick. Doug, we didn't really talk about the biggest news probably in some of NFL history today. I just want to get through that real quick before we get into our playoff.
Old Phil Rivers.
Phil Rivers, 44 years old, which is not unheard of. But much better people have played at that age. And the one thing I'm confused at, he is a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. And now he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame.
So, it's my understanding that he has to withdraw because you have to have not played for 5 years, I believe.
He's been out for 5 years.
So I think that that timer resets now. So if he plays this year, which, I mean, it doesn't matter. I think he's signed to a team. So now he would have to retire again and wait 5 more years.
That's so insane. Do you think, I mean, we're about to get through it. Do you think they have a shot? Oh, we don't know about this guy. He hasn't played football in 5 fucking years. He's been a high school football coach. He lives in Alabama. He's going through, at least a dome. Much different, kind of setup here. But do we think they have a shot now that Phillip Rivers is there?
I think with their remaining schedule of Seahawks, 49ers, Jaguars, Texans, they are guaranteed to miss the playoffs.
I don't disagree. We're about to get into it, but kind of wild ass stat. I'm going to go to my playoff screen. How do we want to do this? Do we want to just go through real quick? Do we want to talk about each game quickly?
Well, we don't have to necessarily comment on each game, but let's just roll through. So this is our playoff tracker for those of you at home. We will fix the weird ratioing for next time. So have no fear, just bear with us for this 1 week, but we're going to go through, we're going to select our winners, and you're going to see how that affects what our individual playoff brackets look like. And they're likely to look very similar, honestly, but let's just go through. Let's start at the top left and then just go old book style left to right.
So this is week 15. I've got Tampa winning.
I just don't think there's any way Tampa doesn't win.
I mean, they did just lose to the Saints, though. I hope they sort it out. But I agree with that altogether.
If they lose this game, Carolina jumps past them and takes the 4th seed. They take the division lead at the moment, but
wow. And the next game,
Buffalo at the Patriots.
At Patriots. This is going to be, I don't think Buffalo is a good team this year, but I think this is going to be a great test for the Patriots to say we are a legitimate option here. And I do think the Patriots win this game.
I also think the Patriots win this game. Part of me wants to believe that Josh Allen will win this game because I still have that little bit of Bengals fan in me that wants the Patriots to win too, because I just would like them to make the playoffs because I'm a fan. Like, it's so hard for me to, like, logically, I know it's better if they don't, but emotionally I can't take myself out of that. So I have to pick the Patriots. I think if I was being logical, I would take the Bills. I think the Bills have a great shot of winning this game. But we'll see what happens. I'm taking the Pats, and that also propels them into the 1 seed over Denver for now.
Yep.
Till we get to that game, we'll see how that goes.
If they could sort it out, I think the Bengals will win this next matchup. And it's not simply, I kind of need the Ravens to lose. We'll see how all kind of plays out here. But I think right now, as weird as this sounds, based on the record, I think the Bengals are a better team. And I think the Baltimore Ravens are
Baltimore looks like they have no identity right now. I don't
agree.
Trust them with anything. They have a lot of talent on their team. They have the ability to get it figured out. This could be a bloodbath for the Bengals. I'm picking them to win because they're my team, and I think that they have the capability of winning, and they will win, and I hate Baltimore.
Next one's pretty easy. I think it's the Jags.
I think
nothing really talk about there.
Jags advanced to the old 10-4, whatever it is.
Next game, Kansas City. We lost by 1 score week 1 against the Chargers, again without Rashee Rice. It was kind of neutral territory because it wasn't at any home, but it was considered a home game for the Chargers. I think in Arrowhead, there's no way, which we've done it already, no way we're going to lose twice again at home. I don't see us losing, and if we think we have a shot, we're winning this fucking game.
I am going to take the Chiefs. I would take the Chargers. The caveat is I saw how much Justin Herbert's hand was bothering him. I am very concerned about how he's going to continue to play with that hand.
Chargers also need to start losing for us to make the playoffs.
I think it might be worth it for the Chargers to even sit him out a game just to try to help him get better. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this game because their back's up against the wall. They have to win.
Yep.
And the Chargers don't necessarily have to win. And I think that makes a big difference in professional sports.
Yeah, we're going to see what this team's really made of. The next game sucks because in any prediction I've made up until this point, because we started this about a week ago, I had the Texans winning this regardless, and it sucks. They're going to win this game, and we really needed to beat them Sunday night for this game to not matter as much, but this just propels them even further. And this is going to take them from the 7th to the 5th seed, which is where Buffalo is going to also start coming into play as well as the Chargers.
I am actually taking the Cardinals in this game.
Really? Okay.
I am. So that actually takes Houston out of the playoffs and promotes the Indianapolis Colts to the 7th seed. I think that this is just a trap game for Houston. Jacoby Brissett did not have a particularly good game. I think that the Cardinals are unconventionally good. An unconventionally good matchup for the Texans for some reason. It's just something inside of my brain says pick the Cardinals. I'm picking the Cardinals. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm just taking the Cardinals. I'm not gonna justify it anymore.
Yeah, next game, pretty easy. I know the Browns are looking better. I don't think they win this game. I think if in terms of trap games, this could be one for the Bears, but I think the Bears are somehow playing well this year. I think the Bears win this, putting them not in danger of getting out of the playoffs anymore, which is wild in the NFC, putting them at the 6th seed.
I'm also going to take the Bears. It's just a smart thing to do. I do want to take the Browns very badly. I have a feeling that the Browns could play this game very closely. That's all I'll say.
Next game, luckily doesn't matter. I am going to take the New York Football Giants. I don't care who's starting a quarterback. I think Washington is a shell of a team at this point, and they really, really, if we want to talk about sitting a quarterback, they have no shot. They need to sit Jaden Daniels, stop putting him in harm's way. It is literally better for the game.
For being a local DC metropolitan area podcast / video YouTube thing, we do not talk about the Commanders a lot. Their actual roster mismanagement, I think, exceeds that of any team in the league. I'm taking the Giants, and Washington probably cleans house after the season. I can't imagine that they keep that coaching staff after what's transpired this season.
It doesn't look good. Next game does kind of matter as far as the NFC projections are concerned, but I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. Philadelphia is going to win this. The Raiders suck. They are officially, I think, eliminated from the playoffs. I could be fucking wrong, but there's no shot of them getting in. Eagles are going to have a bounce back game. It's just got to happen.
I'm going to take the Eagles just because they're the better team.
Yeah. Next game is where things start getting interesting. Seahawks, it's going to be at Seattle against the Colts. This could potentially, because I don't think it's confirmed yet. We won't know because Rivers still has to pass test. I don't think he plays against Seattle. As long as he can pass all the physicals and all that shit that he's got to pass to be able to even play. Doesn't matter that they signed him. He still has to pass it. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe that's why he got signed. I still don't think he plays. And if he does, it's going to be very limited in what they could do. Seattle is a great team this year. I'm picking Seattle, which should change up your playoffs. They're already out of mine right now, which this is what's going to start helping the Chiefs further down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Seattle, and that brings Houston just back into the fold for me.
The next game, good. Would you have something else to add to that? Sorry.
No, but I'll pick the next game first because we all know.
This puts Seattle at number 1. I actually don't know how I'm going to go with this.
I'm going to just make this very, very simple, and that is I am a notorious Broncos hater, and I still, the more that I watch Bo Nix play, the more I'm convinced he's not as good as he's billed.
Agreed.
And I'm picking the Packers.
So, if we had beat Houston and my original lineups that I had going, I had the Packers also potentially win this game because 1, it starts knocking down the Broncos down to the level that they belong at, which is Loserville. 2, it puts it to where we actually have a shot somehow at still winning this division, being that we are officially eliminated from any mathematical possibility of winning this division. And the fact that I kind of need them to go on a ride if we're going to figure things out. Again, we've got to figure it out, or I don't want to be disappointed first round of the playoffs. And the fact that it's at Denver, I think Denver wins this game, which then puts them at the number 1 seed on my side. I do. It's at Denver. The football gods have spoken. They are on their side. I think Green Bay Packers have finally started to figure a few things out, but I don't think they're all the way there. I think this is a matchup that they lose. The scary part is for them, because the NFC is so goddamn close, it puts them at the number 7 seed. So we'll see how that shakes out later on. Next game, pretty easy. San Francisco. Again, kind of doesn't matter except for San Francisco seeding, but I don't see them losing to the Titans.
Yeah, San Fran.
The game after that,
I was trying to find any reason to pick the
the game after that is confusing.
I'm taking the Titans. I'm going back. I'm taking the Titans. I think that they've got some things rolling in their favor right now. Go Titans.
I mean, let's see what that does as far as seeding.
Nothing.
6-7 on my end. All right,
oh, yeah,
I'm gonna stick with San Francisco for this. The next game's gonna be interesting because I didn't watch the Saints against Tampa Bay. Are they legitimate? Was that just like weird divisional matchup? Like any ideas what happened in that?
Did not see the game.
Without seeing it, I gotta take the Panthers in this. They are clearly the better team, but damn, that could change a lot. I mean, doesn't change seeding right now, but I bet it could have implications later on. But
yeah,
we'll see how it shakes out.
The Panthers,
yeah.
Even though I don't think Bryce Young's all that good, I just think the Panthers are going to win this game.
Lions at LA. I got to say, LA, as of right now in my seeding, LA is on the outside looking in. I think LA wins this. Oh, yeah, you're right. There they are. Fucking weird LA, dude. I'm looking for a Ram symbol. Okay. I still think LA wins this regardless, and Lions are on the outside looking in. And that puts them as number 1 seed, because that's kind of the trend we've been seeing lately is the flip-flopping between them, Seattle, and Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the Lions' back is against a wall, so I'm going to go with my logic and say back against a wall, the Lions need to win, so they will find a way to win. That flip-flops the Rams and the Bears in my playoff seeding.
Yeah, Well, Rams are number 1 now for me, and Seattle drops to 5th. They were number 1. Bears at 2nd. Next game, I assume Dallas got healthy. I know the Vikings just beat the shit out of Washington, but that's the Washington product they're putting on the field. I think the Cowboys win this kind of just for sanity's sake. And how in the fuck did we lose? There's no way Cowboys lose this game. I'm picking the Cowboys. Does absolutely nothing to seeding because Philadelphia is still running.
I'm also going to select the Cowboys. And then the final game of the week, Miami at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Miami dog walks the Steelers.
Are you for real? Or are you saying that because you want to see that?
I'm for real. I mean, a weird divisional game against the Ravens last week. So like, yeah, you can always win those games. Aaron Rodgers like ran for a touchdown. Weird shit happening. Maybe they carry that momentum. No matter what momentum they're carrying from a single win, the Dolphins are carrying like 4-win momentum into this game. A-Chain is rolling. Their running game is rolling. Waddle's involved. Tua is not concussed right now. I just don't think Pittsburgh can stop them. I don't necessarily think that it's Miami's going to like play a really good all-around game. I just don't think they're going to be able to stop the Dolphins from scoring. And I don't think Pittsburgh is necessarily set up to score a lot of points. So I think it's going to be a relatively high-scoring game.
Are we the same on our projections so far as the AFC is concerned? Or are we off on that? You picked Green Bay over Denver.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, so like our 1 and 2 seeds are switched, flip-flopped.
I'm going to pick Pittsburgh, but once we're done, I do want to go back and pick the Dolphins to see what happens. Because I could see I could see your point. I think Pittsburgh somehow wins this division, as sad as it is. We'll see.
I don't think it's somehow. I think that they statistically have the best chance. They just need to win 2 games.
Yeah. Okay.
They win 2 games, and I think that they just win the division outright. But I really don't think that they're going to beat the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are just too offensively heavy.
Shake some stuff up for sure.
I will say one thing that I am looking at right now is that it's at Pittsburgh. So considering that, maybe the Dolphins are going to fucking throw one up. But the way that their running game's been, they got a shot.
They have a shot, and they're going to have to use it because, as we saw in playoffs a few years ago, they're fucking terrible in the cold. Starting off week 16, we get a banger of a game that's going to potentially shake up some of the NFC. LA at Seattle. This is a tough one. It's not only divisional, but it's 2 of the top teams. They are tied. This is the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking LA, which puts Green Bay as my 1 seed.
I think overall LA is a better team, and they've got to figure it out. I'm taking
LA has better defense. That's my thing. Offensively, they can both score points.
Yeah,
but LA just has a much better defense.
I agree. They stick to my number 1. That does put Seattle at number 5, which makes sense.
Let's try to zoom through some of these. Like, is anybody picking Commanders over Eagles? Nope. I'm not.
Green Bay Bears going to be a great game. It's at the Bears.
Yeah, I think Green Bay wins this game. I think the Bears start to fall off a little bit towards the end of the season.
I want to lean towards Green Bay as well. I'm going to do that. Jets, Saints doesn't fucking matter. Let's call it the Saints.
I'm going to pick the Jets in that game. I just think they're a better team.
Buffalo.
Bills at Browns.
God, I'd love to see Buffalo fucking crumble because they're 7th seed on mine currently.
Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo in that game.
Yeah.
But the Browns could win that game. The Browns could very well win that game.
If Browns win, they're still 7. If Buffalo wins, they go to 5 for me. But anyways,
Kansas City, I don't see losing to Tennessee.
Yeah. Chargers at Dallas. I'm still on the road of I don't trust Herbert right now, and I'm picking Dallas, and I think they're going to start making a push.
Dallas has to win this game. Yep. I think generally when Dallas is one of those cases when their back's against the wall, they lose. So I'm going to pick the Chargers in that
game. Giants and Vikings. Probably the Vikings.
Yeah, I'll take the Vikings. It matters a little bit. The Vikings have outside chances still.
Tampa at Carolina. This actually changes up that division, I believe. They're tied currently in my projections. It's 7 and 6.
I think if if Chris Godwin can stay healthy for 3 weeks of his life,
Yep.
I think Tampa wins this game.
Yeah, I'm picking Tampa as well. Bengals at Dolphins. Again, if we're riding with Joe Burrow and the team is doing what they've been doing and just figures out some of these mistakes, I think Bengals win that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the Bengals just because I think it's going to be a shootout, and I think the Bengals have more weapons.
Yep. Agreed. Jacksonville at Denver. Again, this didn't fucking this mattered more until we lost. And again, it's at Denver. I think Denver wins this game, sticking with the number 1 seed. And it does not affect Jacksonville's seeding at all in mine.
I'm kind of just riding Jacksonville to the end.
Okay.
The old Jaggies.
This game doesn't matter.
Unless if somebody else gets injured, I'm immediately out on the Jags, just so we're clear. This is as we sit here today.
Okay. This next game doesn't matter. I'm picking Cards just for the sake of the Falcons don't look good at all anymore.
Yeah, I'll pick the Cardinals just because they can pass the ball and Kirk cannot. It's going to be Bijan Robinson versus the Cardinals. That's tough.
Houston beats the Raiders. Kind of a no-brainer there.
I'll also take Houston in that game.
Next game, I think the Lions start figuring their shit out to try to make a push into the playoffs. We'll see what happens.
I mean, once again, the Lions' backs against the wall. They need to win that game, and that's a very winnable game. I think they do win that game. That's also a home game for them. So, and that puts them into my playoff picture, just so we're clear.
Wow. Next game, Patriots at Baltimore. I don't see Baltimore turning shit around. I don't think this affects the Chiefs no matter which way it goes. It's in Baltimore. They both find cold weather. I think Vrabel's just going to best them. I think the Patriots look like one of the best teams in the league.
Hard to see the Patriots losing right now.
Yep.
And then San Francisco at Indy. I have Indy winning this game. It's 2 teams that only have one person they can give the ball to. And I like Jonathan Taylor more than Christian McCaffrey at that point in the season. Christian McCaffrey's usage is just so much higher because he gets all the passing game usage. It's going to be really tough for him to stay. The more games they play, the less you should have faith that he's going to continue to stay healthy.
I need the Colts to drop, right? They're one of 2 teams we need to lose. Phillip Rivers is still concerning.
Is this Billy finds a way for the Chiefs to get into the playoffs, or Billy picks games? You know what I mean?
Well, I am looking too. I'm
doing the same thing for the Bengals.
I think, but I also do think yes. At this point, I'm going with the Jonathan Taylor-led Colts over San Francisco. However, what I'm not doing is going with the Phillip Rivers-led Colts over Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, whoever the fuck ends up starting that week, right?
All right.
I think the defenses at this point are even. I'm picking San Francisco. I think, damn, that puts 3 NFC West teams in. Colts win, they become the 7th seed. As of this week, knowing Phillip Rivers is a starter, I'm picking San Francisco. Moving on.
All right.
Washington, Dallas. Again, Washington's done. Dallas wins. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yep, Dallas wins. The Lions, I think, continue to roll. I mean, I don't think the Vikings are a threat.
Yep. All right, so this is a big one here. Again, this predicates on if we figure shit out, get some guys healthy. I think if you would have asked me before Sunday night, there's no shot Kansas City loses this game. It's at home. It's Denver. We're pissed. Fuck them. They're going to win the division regardless. Kansas City wins. We'll find out this week on what the fuck our team does. Next game doesn't matter.
Oh, well, I didn't pick. Hey.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to pick Kansas City. Oh, notorious Broncos hater, Doug, over here.
Yeah, Kansas City also has to win out no matter what happens in any other game. We lose one game, we're out.
I'm going to take the Raiders over the Giants.
Really?
Yeah. Why not? Give them a win.
They were surprising last week. I think they were somewhat competitive. Not really. Nah.
I think the Giants are a better team.
Jackson Dart's going to finish at a high. I mean, that team will still never do anything, no matter how healthy they are. Jackson Dart's just going to go on high. All right, Houston at Texans. Houston at Chargers. Need the Chargers to start dropping. Houston looked great. CJ Stroud's going to figure it out because they did have, I don't think they look like a great offense, but I don't think they look like a shit offense. Houston wins this game.
Yeah, I mean, Houston, generationally good defense. I'm taking
them. Seattle at Carolina. I think Seattle going to win this one. I think Carolina is definitely looking better, but I don't think they win this game. Oh yeah, you go ahead. Sorry. Keep trying to skip past you.
I'm trying to think here. I think that Carolina has a legit shot to win this game.
I think they have a legit shot every week to win the game. I'm
going to take Carolina. I'm taking Carolina in this game. Seattle's not going to win out.
I'm interested to see what that does for the final projections. Next game, Baltimore at Green Bay. I think Green Bay's a better team. And as of right now, Baltimore's crumbling. And I don't know what they do.
Yeah. Taking the pack.
It's at Lambeau too, so that makes a difference. Next game, again, I think the Bengals keep rolling. I think the Bengals win.
Yeah.
Next game, I think you probably need the Browns to win this, but I am picking Pittsburgh. I think the Browns are going to try to figure out something for next year. I think they're going to start shaking things up next year, especially once we see what happens with the head coaches. But
yeah, I'm taking Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah. Patriots at Jets, kind of no brainer there. Patriots, unless they fall into some weird trap, I just don't see it happening.
I like the Titans at home against the Saints.
Yep, I do too.
Jacksonville, I think.
Riding with the Jags, baby. I'm with you. I do basically need them to win, I think, every game from here on out. There was one that I said no on them, right? Against the Broncos. I don't think they win that, but I do think they beat the Colts. Tampa over Miami.
I'm also taking Tampa. I'm going to take the Bills. Yeah, I'm taking the Bills over the Eagles.
Agreed. Especially
although I think you need Philadelphia to win that game.
Nope. Bills do not matter to me at all. Unless they lose out, they don't matter, and they're not going to lose out.
Interesting.
Yeah. We'll see how
I'll take San Francisco over the Bears.
That'll keep them even. No, that knocks out the Bears out of the playoffs for me and puts Detroit in. And then Rams over Falcons, pretty easy there. That's interesting. I don't know that I think the San Francisco seems like a worse version of the Broncos to me. I think the Broncos have a more complete team because they're not decimated with injuries. But I also don't think they're better than the Browns. Or the Bears. I don't know. That's interesting. All right. I'm kind of with you. History says they win that game, but Bears are different. They're trying to make history this year. All right. Week 18. Pretty simple. Rams over Cardinals.
Yeah. Easily.
Again, this is happening to both Kansas City and Broncos. A lot of home games have finished off this year. I think the Broncos beat the Chargers. Again, no faith in Herbert at this point, week 18, which will indeed. Good. You make your pick.
No, you're good. I'm going to take the Broncos. I can't think they're not going to lose every game for the rest of the season.
Now, doing that as of right now, and assuming once again we'll beat the Raiders, that puts us in the 7th seed. It's the Chargers and the Colts that we need to lose. We're going to say New England over Miami. Well, no, actually, I'm going to say New England loses this. Shit, if they lose first seed. Nah, they're going to be fighting. They're going to be fighting for first seed on mine. I say they beat Miami. It's in New England. It's going to be cold.
Miami anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be cold. That's a silly one. I would think they would rest their starters, but if they lose, they're not going to. On mine, right now, they'd be 15-2 with the Broncos at 14-3. If they lose, they're tied, and Broncos apparently have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I got the Eagles over Washington.
Yep. Big game here, right? Let's see. Where are we at with that? No, Baltimore would be third in mine as of right now.
I have Baltimore winning this game. Ooh, and the Bengals don't make the playoffs, so I do need the Browns to beat the Steelers. Very interesting. I'm still going to take the Steelers in that game just because that is my pick for that game. But
I think, again, I have to look at this objectively as if we're thinking right now, we're looking at these teams. How are they going to be? Baltimore's got a lot of shit to fix.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. Baltimore and Pittsburgh, it's hard to see them, either one of them sweeping the other one.
Yeah. Seattle at San Francisco could be a huge game. I think Darnold starts to falter. San Francisco's been here before. I think San Francisco somehow takes this. Keeps them both in the playoffs, so for me.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take Seattle, and that knocks San Francisco out of the playoffs and promotes the Bears.
Yep. Next one, again, if I put the Colts as winners, it just changes seeding. That's all it does. It takes it gives the division win to the Jacksonville Jaguars over Houston. But I think at this point, Houston, unless they're like, look, we just want to get into the playoffs healthy, they're playing their starters. I think we're going to see more starters start week 18 this year than almost any other year.
This game doesn't matter to my bracket at all. I'm taking the Texans just because I think they're a better team, but it literally does not change my seeding at all.
Dallas over the Giants for me.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, assuming that the Eagles play earlier in the day, the Dallas is eliminated from the playoffs. Yeah. So I'm actually just going to take the Giants because I think that'll be very deflating to Dallas.
Yeah, I'll still stick with Dallas. Next game, probably more key for you than me, but again, if you guys ride with Burrow to the end, it's going to be the Bengals. Changes nothing for me, and it puts you guys
in fourth. Second. So that would put us in the division lead.
Put you in second in mine, 8-9 versus the 10-7 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I was wrong about the Steelers needing to beat the Browns. The Steelers can still beat the Browns, and I just hadn't selected this game yet.
Okay.
We can't tie, so we need to win this game. I think that we'll win that game. It's at home.
Lions at Bears. Chicago's need to play to get in. Let's see what happens. They win, they're in, and Lions are out. It's going to be a crucial matchup right here. And one of these games got flex at some point. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, so, I mean, in my bracket, the only thing that this affects is whether the Bears are in the playoffs or not and what seed the Lions are. I'm just going to take the Lions because I, once again, just think they're a better team. And I think that they'll be healthier at this point, which puts them up to the 5th seed and also puts San Francisco back in the playoffs for me. So they get that last wild card seed.
Okay. Again, Falcons look like shit, so I'm gonna say the old Saints in on a high.
I'm gonna take the Falcons in that game. Obviously, I think we're both taking the Bills.
Yep.
This game kind of matters, I think, for the 1 seed because I'm gonna take the Vikings to beat Green Bay and the Rams to be the 1 seed.
Mine won't matter, and because of that, I'm also going to take the Vikings, and it's just gonna leave Green Bay at the number 2 seed. They still won't get a bye regardless.
This one for me, because of the way that I picked, does not matter. I don't know if it matters for you. But it'll be like a point of pride for the Panthers. So I'll take the Panthers to win in week 18 against the Bucks, but it's not going to matter.
If everything plays out, again, I think the Bucks also probably sit starters, get them ready for playoffs. So I'm also going to take the Panthers, also for the pride. That does make them 9-8 versus 10-7 with that win. So, I think that's a good way to go into the offseason, just miss the playoffs, realizing you have a legitimate shot next year. And then Jags for me are going to be 6th seed no matter what. So once again, I think they sit their starters. Titans somehow get this divisional win.
Yeah, they're 2 seed for me, but same thing. Like it doesn't matter. I'm going to pick the Jags just because they're a better team.
I'm interested. So we both have New England at first. And the Rams at first. 2nd seed, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have the Broncos. We both have Kansas City at the 7th seed. I've got the Bears at 7. You've got San Francisco at 7. You got the Texans at 3rd. I got them at 6th because I have the Jags winning that division. Or no, I'm sorry. I have them at 3rd because I have them winning division where Jags are at 6th. Let's see here. And then you have Cincinnati making the playoffs. So I think the major change, all the teams are the same except for that division on the AFC side. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Seattle gets in, San Francisco gets in, the Rams get in, Green Bay gets in, Philly gets in, Tampa gets in. But instead, I have the Bears getting in over the Lions. And you have them winning one more game.
Yeah, I think the Lions are just grittier. I think Dan Campbell has a grittier team than Ben Johnson.
I certainly agree. I think if we look at it from that standpoint and who we think can legitimately fight their way in, I do think it could be the Lions. I just have them losing some of those games. We'll see. But the Bengals, so tell me about that just because that is your team. I want a little more on that one. Who did you have winning games? So you had Pittsburgh losing a game, correct?
I have Pittsburgh
because I have Bengals winning out as well. I think yes.
I have Pittsburgh losing this game to the Ravens. Other than that, I have them losing to the Lions, the Dolphins, and the Ravens.
Which is how your Lions also got in. All right, so Lions. I have the loss to the Lions as well.
Even if they beat the Dolphins, let's say they beat the Dolphins and then they lose to the Browns. Like you flip-flop that, it's the same result. So for the Bengals to get in the playoffs, the Steelers have to go 1-3 over the next 4 games. Including a loss to the Ravens. So it only matters that they pretty much have to lose to the Ravens.
The one thing, like knowing that.
Hold on, let me double check and make sure that they have to lose to the Ravens or they could. Okay, they could lose to the Ravens or the Browns technically, but they still have to go 1-3.
I think with that information though, like I think he's washed and I do see some like weird signs of life, but not enough to be like, holy shit, he still got it. Aaron Rodgers is still a very competitive person. It's the reason he's still playing in the NFL. I see him having a better chance of like leading this team to more than one victory. Because if they go 2-2, they're in, correct? Kind of no matter how at least the way your stuff plays out.
I believe that is, yeah. I mean, yes. If they go 2-2, they're in based on my picks.
Yeah, because I got you guys winning out. If they win 2, they're 9-6. You guys are 8-9.
Let's just say that the Ravens win. If the Ravens win 3 of their games, they're in, or I think they just have to beat the Bengals. But if the Ravens win 3 games to end the season somehow, or if they go 3-1 in any fashion, they're the division winners.
Yeah, just to kind of put this in perspective too, at least for Kansas City has to win out. I think it's highly possible. Obviously, our harder game will be against the Broncos, but if we figured some stuff out, we should beat the Broncos. And then the Chargers need to lose to Dallas or Houston, which I think at least they lose to Houston, possibly both of those. And they have to lose to Denver, which I also think is extremely possible. So
here's the thing is this is the worst possible scenario for the Bengals. I also just want to, we need to wrap this up, but I do want to mention that.
Yeah.
Is that the way that I've picked this with my heart is the worst possible scenario for the Bengals.
Okay.
Because we're going to get the worst possible draft pick. Not only that, but we get a rematch against Buffalo at home. So we might win that fucking game. And that's terrifying because I doubt that we're beating any of the other teams here.
I think the AFC is so volatile right now. I don't know who's good. I really don't. I think based off of our picks, we both think New England's good. Unfortunately, the Broncos are going to fucking just halt their way into a 2nd or 3rd seed kind of.
Here's the thing.
Play
I don't think Denver is capable of being Houston. So in my bracket, not in your bracket, but in my bracket, Denver plays Houston. I think Denver loses that game, even though it's at home. I think Houston's defense locks up Denver, and they're not a particularly high-flying team in general. So Houston's not going to have to score a lot of points to win this game.
The scary part, no matter what, and this kind of fucks me too. So Jacksonville would have to lose to change this completely. Going into Denver, especially it being colder, I think is a scary situation just based on the luck that they've had given to them this year. So whether it's Houston going into Denver or us going into Denver, I don't know that either one of us walk out. And again, it puts us in a situation like you guys where it's just a shitty situation.
Yeah, here's my thing. If this is how the AFC playoffs turn out, I have Kansas City beating Jacksonville, Houston beating Denver, and the Bengals beating Buffalo. I don't think you're going to beat a team 2 times in 3 weeks right now at this point in the season.
Realistically, if either one of these are to play out better for me, I need your projections to come true.
Yeah, so I think that or if this happens, which this is my prediction, I would say that Kansas City is going to beat Jacksonville.
Great.
Houston's going to beat Denver. The Bengals are going to beat Buffalo. And then Houston is going to have to come to Cincinnati, and Kansas City goes to New England. And then Houston's going to slaughter us. And I mean, Kansas City might have a shot at that point. I did say that if they get in as a wild card, like a low seed wild card, I did say this, I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, they are, I think, the most dangerous version of themselves at that point.
Yeah.
So, and I still believe that. So they could very much go to New England and win. And the AFC Championship could be a repeat of the 2021 AFC Championship. It could be Bengals Chiefs. It could be Texans Chiefs. We could be very much looking at a Texans Super Bowl bid this year. I think it's likely, actually. But anyhow.
Yeah, I think let's go and switch.
Let's see how this week shakes out.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see how this week shakes out. Your camera got fucked again by you doing that.
Sorry, I just closed my fucking stream.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. We got to work that all out. Guys.
Yeah, Doug's up here to the you could see him and you could see me twice. I will say this just as a little thing for everybody out there. If the Chiefs lose to the Chargers, the podcast is canceled for the rest of the fucking year. I won't want to talk about anything. I can't lose to divisional opponents twice in 1 year. It's just not with the current team. If they win, obviously there's weird, probably stupid hope after that we actually do something. But yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Sounds good, man. Hey, listen, appreciate everybody coming out, listening. I know it's a little long in the jaw, but we're getting better every week. I think that this was maybe our best episode yet. Actually, I do think it was our best episode yet. And I like some of the graphical things that Billy's over here cooking up, and we're working on making it a better experience. If you have any suggestions, just leave them down in the comments, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Goodbye.